जय गणपति जय गणनायक जय गणपति वंदन गणनायक जय गणपति वंदन गणनायक तेरी जगत सुंदर सुखदायक तेरी जगत सुंदर सुखदायक जय गणपति वंदन गणनायक जय गणपति वंदन गणनायक
Praise the Gajana Swami Ki Jai. Let us all sit upright for a few minutes, devotees, as we clasp our hands, close our eyes, and bow our heads in prayer. As we take a deep breath this evening, let us cleanse our minds of all thoughts prior to coming to Mandir, here at Amar Jyoti Mandir. For those of you joining us virtually as well, if you would sit upright for a few minutes, we take a deep breath. As we exhale, we let out that negative energy. We inhale the positive energy here at Amar Jyoti Mandir, emanating from all these beautiful murtis before us. Once again, purify every cell in this body as we exhale. One more time, just a deep breath again and relax. Drop the shoulders and relax. Hari Om, Hari Om. श्री सरस्वती नमः। श्री गुरु चरण कमलेभ्यो नमो नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः। गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We go before the feet of Jagadambe Bhavani Shankar Ma, Mother of this universe, Durga Devi Bhavani Shankar Ma. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Matrurupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah. Seated upon Mount Kailash, the Holy Nath Bhagwan Shiva, with his hands in a mudra position, a higher mudra position, showering us with his blessings, we call upon him tonight to bless his very family, to bless this community, to bless this temple, and all those who have come from near and far to celebrate the life of our dear departed brother. Karapur Gauram Karunavataram Samsar Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hrudayaravinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. Mahavir Swami, Pavan Putra Hanumanji, the God of strength, the God of willpower, the son of Ayuranjanema, we call upon you, O Lord, to bless us in this time of need, in this time of healing. O Lord, we ask that your guiding hands be upon one and all. Atulit Baladhamam Hem Shailabadeham Dhanjavara Krishanam Yaniramagranam Sakal Gunanidhanam Vanaranamadhisham Raghupati Priyabhatam Vatjatam Namami. Maki Vrindavan Bihari Mohan Muraliya Ghanshyam Shri Krishna. O Lord, we ask you to guide this soul. Whatever the next destination of this soul is, O Lord, we know he is in your command, he is in your charge. Gently take him and escort him, O Lord, to that destination, wherever it is. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Janur Maldanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishna Vande Jagadgurum Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyuthanavasya Dharmasya Tadatmanam Srijamyaham Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya cha dushkritam Dharma samsthapanadhaya Sambhavami yuge yuge. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Praise the Lord, Brahman Bihari Lal ki Jai. Remain seated up right now. We chant 3 times the Maha Mantra, the mantra of all mantras, the Shri Gayatri mantra. Take a deep breath once again. Om Bhurabhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Prem Sro Shri Gayatri Mata Ki Jai. In this month of Shravan, and especially on this occasion, we're celebrating the life of this departed soul. We go before Bhagavan Shambhu now. The Mahamrityunjay mantra, most appropriate on these times. We'll chant 9 times. Again, I ask you, either look at the Shivlingam, look at the eyes of Lord Shiva. Concentrate on that Murti of Bhagavan Shambhu as we call upon him again. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Vandana Mrityur Mokshiyamamruta. Prem se Gomapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. Once again, Swagatam. Welcome to each and every one of you. It's always good to be here at Amar Jyoti Mandir. And for those of you who have come from near and far to join with us this evening, to join with the Boodoo family, in celebrating the life of this wonderful departed soul, Sri Krishna Ji, who many of us have known, I guess, from the time he has been here for how many years? What, 50 years? About 50 years. I've been in Florida for 35 years, and I've known him since the day I arrived in Florida. And that wonderful soul, we'll speak more about the departed soul in a few minutes, but let us begin by welcoming each and every one of you. Thank you all for being here. Ji, thank you for helping us out this evening, and also your presence. My brothers Nirmalji and of course Rameshji coming all the way from Broward County. Some serious traffic this evening, I know, coming down from Broward County. Nevertheless, we are here, and let me say first of all to the Boodoo family, thank you for allowing us to share with you in this moment of grief. And our duty here tonight is to celebrate his life, to also give praises and thanks to Bhagwan for the years that he spent with us, and to spend especially with you guys, and also to pray for that departed soul as it journeys now to that next destination, to wherever it is. And for those of you joining us online from all across the world this evening, we say Swagatam, and please share our broadcast and join with us this evening in this few minutes of devotion dedicated to Bhagwan. Let us now sing the glory of Lord Ganesha, the leader of the gunners of Lord Shiva's army, and the destroyer of all obstacles in his spiritual practices. Sing the glories of Lord Ganesha, that all that is auspicious, intelligence and knowledge, the elephant-headed Lord, the son of Gauri and Shiva, who is known as Gangadhara. जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका जय जय गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका जय 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 विघ्न विनाशका जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो गंगाधर शिव शंभो जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गजवदना गौरी नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो गंगाधर शिव शंभो गंगाधर शिव शंभो जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका प्रेम से बोलो गजानन स्वामी की जय. My dear brothers and sisters, once again Swagatam, Sitaram, Namaste, Assalamu Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Sai Ram, Jai Guru Datta. I am deeply humbled tonight to be in your company and seated amongst you in this beautiful divine ashram called the Amar Mandir, of which we very well know our dear brother, late brother, Sri Krishna Ji was very instrumental in, as he was the past president of this organization for many years. To this family, the loss of a loved one, especially a father, a parent, a mother, it creates a void, it creates a very deep pocket in your lives, in your daily lives, because knowing that, always being comforted that he was always there, he was always a phone call away or just a visit away. What we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we will never lose. Remember this. What we once enjoyed and deeply loved, we will never lose. For all that we love deeply will become part of us, his memories. This spiritual healing tonight, we go to the pages of Sri Ramcharitamanas. Goswami Tulsidas Ji composed this beautiful prayer glorifying Pavanaputra Hanumanji Mahavir Swami, the God of strength. These 40 glorious verses called the Sri Hanuman Chalisa, I summarize it as the most potent form of spiritual medication there is on this planet today. Meaning, whenever you feel down, you feel out, you feel lost, you feel dejected, you are hurt, you have lost a loved one. In order to fill that void with love, with dedication, with spirituality, we call upon Mahavir Swami, and you will see what I mean. Let us blend our voices together. If you don't know it by heart, Google Baba has it. Go look at it. And sing with us. I want you to sing tonight. You know, for those of you who don't know or didn't know, Krishna was a love, I should say, Sri Krishna was a lover of good music. I will talk a little bit about more that later. I know that personally because I've experienced that with him. Good music. So, wherever that soul is tonight, let us give him some good music and some beautiful voices like we all have here at Amar Jyoti Mandir. Okay? I want to hear all of you singing. And those of you joining us online as well. Sing loud. Okay? Nirmalji, would you please lead us with Shri Hanuman Chalisa, my dear brother?
Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Siya Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram Siya Ram. Sri Guru Karna Sarojarika Nijamala Matana Sudhar Maranora Jumana Vinaiki Yadayaka Kalaka Buddhi Nakanu Janike Sumiro Pavana Kumar Balabudi Vidya Devu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vichar Harahu Kalesha Vichar Jai Hanuman Mahavir Vikram Bhajan Bhuvat Nivar Sumat Ke
Amarji. Devotees, tonight, let us send this light of love, purity, to the departed soul of our dear brother, so that he receives via Lord Krishna all the love of everyone gathered here and those of you joining us remotely, all his sentiments. We share this with his family through our loving hearts to its journeys to the next destination. Remember that the sun is still shining behind every dark cloud. Process that for a minute. You don't have to carry this sorrow alone. Lean on those around you and let us know how we can help. It is not easy to lose a family member, especially your dear father, mother, grandma, wife, sister, Aji, Nani, and so forth. And whenever you miss him, celebrate his memory with little things like playing his favorite songs, which he has many, and I think classical was his number one, or visiting a place that he cherished dearly, Amar, Jyoti, Mandir. Okay, don't forget the address. Although you can no longer see him with your physical eyes, touch him tonight with your hands, and you will feel him in your hearts forever. And don't worry, his love will always be with you, and he is an angel that will be watching over you. A great writer once said, there's no expiration date on the love between a father and a child. There's no expiration date. That is perpetual. Point of light, the bhajan says. The Supreme Soul is here. It is time, O souls, for the union with Him. Experience the bliss, O souls, and get blessed for the rest of our lives. Point of life, for the union with Him. This principal mantra to attain the God is complete surrender. The Brahma Kumaris gave us this beautiful bhajan, Jyoti Bindu. Jyoti Bindu Paramatma se hai meri atma ab chal kar le milan ab chal kar le milan ab chal kar le milan परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू परमानंद का अनुभव कर तू धन्य बना जीवन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन ओ अब चल कर ले मिलन अब चल कर ले मिलन प्रभु की प्राप्ति का मूल मंत्र है संपूर्ण समर्पण प्रभु को सौंप दे तू सारा जीवन देख प्रभु तेरी निकट विराजे देख प्रभु तेरी निकट विराजे धन्य नाम अभिनंदन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर ले मिलन ओ अब चल कर ले मिलन अब चल कर ले मिलन ज्योति बिंदु के प्रेम सिंधु में जल
आज नहाले परम पिता का प्रेम पात्र बनकर तू शुभ वर पाले किरण किरण को निरख नयन से किरण किरण को निरख नयन से हो जा मन में मगन ज्योति बिंदु परमात्मा से है मेरी आत्मा अब चल कर मिलन ओ अब चल कर मिलन अब चल कर मिलन अब चल कर मिलन अब चल कर मिलन बाकी वृंदावन बिहार लाल की जय राम नाम सच है As we begin our brief discourse this evening, I take you to Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 27. Bhagwan Shri Krishna Vacha. Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. 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 Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. जातस्य विद्रोहो मृत्यु ध्रुवं जनं मृतस्य च तस्मात् अपि हारेभे नात्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल ओ जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल जय जय राधा रमण हरि बोल आगे वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय Bhagavan Shri Krishna speaks to us in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmad apar hari radhe na tvam sochitum arhasi. He says, death is certain for those who have been born. Whatever has been born must die. And rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore, you should not lament over the inevitable. Death is a bridge, Dada J.P. Baswami tells us. When death comes, we will leave this physical world and cross over to the bridge and enter the astral world. He also likened the death of a body to sunset. He said to us, sunset is only an appearance. For what is sunset here? Sunrise elsewhere. Similarly, death here could mean birth elsewhere, depending on our karmic actions. The mantra tells us, Mrityur ma amritam gamaya. From death to eternity. We all chant this mantra, Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. We are not the changeable, perishable, or the body that we wear. We are the immortal spirit within. I cannot die. This body dies. Krishnaji's body has died. That soul will not die. Then, mai kaun hu? Who am I? Who are you? Have we asked ourselves this question? The real question tonight, the $1 million question as we say. Let us try to answer this question in this next bhajan. The bhajan tells us, we have come into this world alone, and similarly, we shall leave alone. On careful thinking, we find that life is transient, not a fact. You have decorated mahals for many people with your kindness, and you have undergone tremendous suffering. But all in return you receive is selfishness. The Bhajan tells us this. From where have you come and what is your purpose? Do good, and you have nothing to fear. I bhi akela. I want to hear all of you sing and clap. Come on. Jai bhi akela. Do din ki zindagi hai. Do din ka mera. I bhi akela. Nice. Jai bhi akela. Do din ki zindagi hai. Do din ka mera. सजाए मतलब की यार सारी सभी है पराए जिनके लिए है तूने महल सजाए मतलब की यार सारी सभी है पराए जिनके लिए है जितना तूने दुख झेला 2 दिन की जिंदगी sing with the fun. I be a kela, jai be a kela. 2 din ki zindagi hai, 2 din ka mera. काहे को तू आया जग में, क्या तुझको करना? नेकी करम है करने दुनिया से डरना काहे को आया जग में क्या कुछ करना नेकी करम है करने दुनिया से डरना आँख की आँख में तुमको आगे दुख तेरा 2 दिन की जिंदगी है 2 दिन का सपना गैरों की दुनिया में नहीं कोई अपना ये जिंदगी है प्यारे एक झूठ सपना गैरों की दुनिया में नहीं कोई अपना सब गिर जेते हुए मैं हूँ अकेला 2 दिन की जिंदगी है 2 दिन everybody come on sing I be अकेला जाए भी अकेला 2 दिन की जिंदगी है 2 दिन का मेला 2 दिन की जिंदगी है 2 दिन का मेला 2 दिन की जिंदगी है 2 दिन का मेला आके वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय राधे राधे Devotees, our scriptures tells us we are to take life as easy as death comes. Take life as it comes and take death as it comes, sorry. Death is really a beautiful thing, our scriptures tells us. Because if it were a bad thing, then God wouldn't let it happen to us. God will deal in bad things. It is really freedom and entry into a higher life, another realm. And we must utilize this in order to realize that there is life beyond this one. Beyond this earthly garden, this earthly plane, the infinite land where we meet those perhaps whom we thought we had lost. Although we must not seek death. Scriptures teaches us this. When it comes, we should know that it is the final examination and there's a bigger reward ahead of it. Paramahansa Yogananda, I quote. Tonight, I quote from Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, he tells us, death is like a body that just changes the clothes. Jiva Atma changes bodies, the soul that is. Until it gets another body, it has to wait. This is why we perform the Shraddha, the shaving, the bandhara and so forth. Shaving is also called the Daskar, 10 days. The wait is in order to check what one has done till today and how one has lived their lives. There's a simple motto and a simple formula to ensure that we don't ever have to come back to take another birth in this mortal world. And what is that formula? Love all and serve all selflessly. That's a simple formula. Love all and so love ever, hate never. That's a simple formula. And if we practice this, there's no negative karma that you will have to think about. Because if this world is filled with love, if all we think, man karma vachan se, our thoughts, our words and our deeds are encased with love, how can you go wrong? Love, the most powerful 4-letter word in this entire universe. Love can move mountains. Love can end wars. One without love is a corpse. Love cannot be bought in any stores. Love can only be felt. My dear brothers and sisters, when you leave temple today and you go back home, you go into a different realm, a different space. So too, when you are born, you die and then you are reborn again. You take birth in another form, in another body. This journey of birth and death, it's constant, it keeps happening until such time our karma has been eliminated. And then we can go back to Paramatma, where we have all come from. The world is like a classroom and the universe is like a university. Everybody who is born here is born with a purpose, make no mistake. We all have a purpose. We also have an expiration date, but we don't know it. Not so. Only God knows. He can call that number, okay, you're expired, come back, let's go. Brothers and sisters, to learn this lesson of birth and death and what should we do to not come back here is in fact one of the laws of nature. Even Arjuna, someone who had great prowess, became a subject of the feeling of me, mine and I. He was attached. My relatives, my teacher, my wife, my children. He was always attached. My people, my kinsmen. This sense of attachment made him throw away his bow on the battlefield, overcome with grief. No, I can't kill them. No, I cannot fight. He wanted to go back until Lord Krishna threatened him and says, let me go get Draupadi. She's a lot more braver than you. My dear brothers and sisters, this attachment may plunge anyone feeling miserable-minded into grief at any place, at any time, and at any situation. There was a story not too long ago where this father bought I think it was in 2020, a 2020 Mercedes-Benz, I think it's an SL5, I don't have one, I don't know, was the highest model? Anybody drive a Benz in here? Whatever the highest model is, the most expensive one, red. And you actually drive a Benz? Wrong crowd. Anyways, he bought a Mercedes-Benz, a red Mercedes-Benz, and he parked it on his driveway. And he didn't put it in the garage because, of course, he wants everybody to see that he has a red Mercedes-Benz, brand new, spanking new. And his son, he was playing hockey with the boys on the street, ice hockey. And one of the boys accidentally hit that hockey puck, and they put a big dent in the door of the car. So, I'll just use his name as Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith came out now, and he saw this dent on the car. What do you think the first thing he did? Called his son. Hey, Sham, come here. Not in that tone, of course. What is this? What have you done? Before the boy could open his mouth, you know what he did? He took a hammer and he hammered every single fingernail in the boy's right hand so he wouldn't damage the car again. Right? Attachment. What was more important, the car or the son? Then he had to go to the hospital now to visit his son. And you know what the son said to him when he went to visit his son? The son wasn't angry. He said, Daddy, I'm so sorry. I will never do this again. But also I will not be able to use this right hand anymore. The car was more important because of attachment. When that what name I give him? Mr. Smith. When Mr. Smith dies, is that Mercedes going to go with him too? Devotees, this is reality. This happens today in this world. Let us live in such a way that we do not have to come back and deal with Smiths. Now, this love we speak about is a powerful force. Powerful. No other power in this world will ever excel love. And misunderstanding the nature of love, men are falling prey to suffering. And the result of this misguided expression of what is called love, men today worship God for the fulfillment of desires. I want. I want a red Mercedes Benz. Let me play to who, buddy? Who's ready? Hanumanji. Maybe I'll get a red Mercedes Benz. Fulfillment of desires is why we pray to God, not you here. Devotees, this is not true love. People pretend to love their kith and kin and friends out of purely selfish considerations. Selfish considerations. And this is only attachment. That is not love. Only that can be described as love, which offers itself without any expectation of compromise. So, let us do a little exercise. I love to do this exercise. I want you all to look to the left of you tonight. If you have a wall, look at me. If you have a wall, look at me. I realize that. And I want you to tell that person, I love you. Come on. Alright, come to me. Right. Now look to your right. Now look to your right. Tell this person, I love you. Now look up on the altar here and tell Krishna ji we love him. Come on. Yes. This is why we are all here tonight. In the Srimad, you see what you just did there? Not only did you just lower your blood pressure, I do this all over, and I'm not afraid to do this exercise, because there's nothing wrong in saying love. Or you tell somebody I love you, because you're releasing that stress, you're breaking that barrier. If you don't know somebody, say, man, I love you. You have to be careful these days, because in some situations they may read you wrong. But in most cases, it's acceptable, devotees. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, Bhagwan has been described as Suhid, a true friend. And without expecting anything in return, accompanying you like a shadow, as Bhagwan. God fulfills our desires, make no mistake. God knows when, where, why, how much, and when. Fulfills our desires. Even a mother loving a son may have expectations that he would take care of her in her old age. I'm not throwing stones to anyone. God has no such expectations, devotees. Suhrid describes the utterly selfless love of God. And you see this word selfless? I want us all, I ask you all humbly tonight, put it into practice. Selflessness. Don't look for any, when you do something for the temple, for the community, for a friend, for a brother, sister, mother, father, don't look for anything in return. That is your duty, devotees. You know, we can rise above this if we become attached to God, not attached to the Mercedes Benz, material things. Attached to God instead now. I want to be at the feet of God. I want to see God. I want to feel God. And He urges us to move beyond this duality of this mundane world and to welcome both joy and grief as the same. The Bhajan tells us, what kind of a world is this, O Master, when some are crying because they are sad and others are singing because they are happy? No one can understand this business of yours, O Lord. In your world, many souls often loses the little that they have accumulated, and they cry in great pity for justice, but people are always sunk in self-interest. It's all about me, my, and I. Lord, in your world, we find mixed joy and sorrow, and you have now made the night follow the day between the thorns of the flowers. A beautiful bhajan we sing. कोई रोए कोई गाए कैसा तेरा संसार ओ मालिक कैसा तेरा संसार Your words sing along. कोई समझ नहीं पाए
उजल जाए जब रैन बसेरा पंछी सिर पर रोए कोई न जाने दर्द किसी का सब मतलब में खोए अंबर नीर बहाए धरती करे मालिक कैसा तेरा संसार जिनके संग तूने रात बनाई फूलों के संग काटे जाने कहाँ किस जग में कर तू ये सुख दुख बाटे पतझड़ जहाँ मुस्काए रोए वही बहार ओ मालिक कैसा तेरा संसार कोई रोए कोई गाए कैसा तेरा संसार ओ मालिक कैसा तेरा संसार ओ मालिक कैसा तेरा संसार प्रेम से बोलवा के वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय।
Devotees, life is but the interval, between two instances, birth and death. It's a procession towards the grave that starts from the very minute that we are born. The timer or the expiration clock begins to tick. In the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, which compares life to a journey, we need to understand this very briefly. Lord Krishna taught Arjuna about the nature and the destiny of this journey of life. And the various journeys, whether it's by bus, by car, by train, by airplane, undertaken by us in this daily life, are always regulated by time. Not so? The train always has a time, a departure time, arrival time. Same thing with all modes of transport, except if you're in Trinidad. No, I'm just kidding. But the life journey, this journey of life, has been going on since creation. And it began and shall continue forever until the end of time. Unlike other journeys, this journey can never be cancelled or postponed. It has to happen. It is inevitable for everyone, whether he's a Messiah or a mendicant. And forgetting that this ultimate journey is unavoidable for all those who come into this world with a body, man foolishly claims to be immortal. Engrossed in the transient matters of this world, he becomes a victim of misery and suffering. What happens to me after death? Or what will happen to me after death? I'm sure we have all asked ourselves this question. No need to show your hands, but ask yourself the question, how many of us are afraid of death? Have you not thought what happens after the soul leaves this body? Just Sunday, actually Saturday, Russell G called me up and said to me, Panditji, Dad's not looking too good. Would you mind going to the hospital and offer a little prayer for him? And on Sunday, with Russell's permission, I went down to Baptist and saw Bhai Krishna Ji. He was hooked up to his respirator, not conscious of course, but spent about 30 minutes singing, chanting from the Bhagavad Gita, singing Sri Hanuman Chalisa, gave him a little bit vibhuti. Was it still there when you went? Vibhuti, yes. And, it makes you think, that could be you, that could have been me on that bed. What goes through the mind? What's probably going through his mind at that time? The soul is still there, the body is still alive. But not too long, the very next day, when Russell visited, a matter of seconds after they took him off the respirator, that soul, the journey began. My dear brothers and sisters, in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna in great detail. Arjuna was faced with a situation where in order to uphold dharma, he had to fight and kill people who were very dear to him, his own relatives and friends. Namaste Balaji. As one might expect, it caused great disturbance to Arjuna because he had to kill his own kith and kin. He lost all composure, and like a normal mortal, he began to cry. Devotees, Arjuna threw down his bow and told Lord Krishna, he says, Na yochasya, I shall not fight. And his anxiety and grief now was based on the false identification of his body. He was attached. Devotees, how many of us fall into this trap about the body? It's all about the body. If I don't look good, I'm not going to work today. I don't mean that. Please go to work. He thought that if the self ceases to exist, then the body is dead. No, devotees. Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, verse 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani nainam dahati pavakaha na chainam kledo yantyapo na shoshati marutaha. This soul, the soul of our brother who has left, our souls, we are all part and parcel of the super soul, Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And this soul has no name. It has no sex. It has no class, no caste. It doesn't have a passport. Doesn't have a color. Doesn't belong to anyone but Paramatma. It never dies. If you study medical science, almost every single organ in the body can be replaced or replicated or put in like a pacemaker for the heart and so forth. Ain't no replacement for the soul. When it's gone, colloquially. Devotees, to correct this misconception and to establish this belief now, Arjuna, Lord Krishna, spoke the Bhagavad Gita, the entire Bhagavad Gita, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra for the purpose of Arjuna to understand and to teach mankind, we are not the body, we are the soul. He began by first establishing the eternity of the soul. And for the soul, as I said, there's no birth nor death. He is unborn, eternal, ever-existing and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. The body is simply an external covering, a sheet over the soul. And being material, the body is by nature temporary. And at some point, it must deteriorate and die. When a body dies, if it's not refrigerated within hours or even minutes, what happens? Instantly. Not so? Instantly. And it also swells if you've seen someone who has died for a while. The soul, the soul is spiritual in nature. Sometimes you hear a good song, and Krishna will tell you this too. Boy, that touched my soul. Your voice touched my soul. That poem touched my soul. There's no beginning, and there's definitely no end. And whereas the quality of things are temporary, things like ignorance, suffering, pain, the qualities of the soul are eternal. Love, peace, tranquility, satya, dharma, prema, shanti. Anything that has a beginning in time will also certainly have an end. And what determines the body one will go to at the time of death? There are many myths around. People say you throw flour, you throw the ashes, I think, at the Bandara after the Havan is completed, and you will see a shape, and that's where the body is going to go, or that's the new form that the soul is going to take. These are all myths. But devotees, Nama Smaran, which is chanting the name of God, will ensure, especially at the time of death, will ensure, based on our karmic actions, that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is present to escort the soul back to its next state. What we have done throughout our lives will eventually come into the mind as we begin to leave. Now, in a conscious state, when someone is conscious and they are about to die, Well, I've seen this. What happens when sometimes they perform the final rites, and the person that's dying will say, "What are you doing here? Hey, Mousy, what are you doing here?" I'm serious. They start replaying now, and they begin to see things as the soul begins to make this journey. My brother Ramesh and I have visited many in the hospital, offering final rites and so forth. And the conversations begin there. People are starting to journey. You'll see sometimes on social media, they tell you that my mother is traveling, not on an airplane, in a spiritual plane. The soul is ready to journey. Devotees, when that time comes, and I commend you, Russell, you did the right thing. Russell called immediately and said, Baba, please go and offer some prayers and sing a bhajan or two for my father. It was an honor and a blessing to be there for him. He's a good friend of mine. Devotees, according to our consciousness at the time of death, we'll receive a suitable body. Now, if you have lived a life of hate, anger, hypocrisy, deceit, if you have never walked into a temple, if you've never offered a prayer, if you don't even know how to say the name Rama Krishna, sometimes you go to these final rites again, and you ask the person that's on the dying bed, even in an ICU, uncle, auntie, bhaiya, didi, can you chant, say Ram, say Krishna? They'll do this to you. I never chanted it while I was alive. What am I going to do now? Let us not become like that, devotees. Let us not become. Make it a part of your daily lives. As you inhale, so hum, I am God, I am my Father are one. I and my Father are one. Tonight I want to ask all of you, do not be afraid of death. And repeat after me, please, and say it as loud as you can. I am not afraid. You know what I was going to say, right? I am not afraid. Say it, come on. God is with me. Again, I am not afraid. God is with me. One more time. I am not afraid. God is with me. Did you feel your paws just raise? Because God is with us. You just have to call Him, devotees. And call Him with a loving heart. Call Him selflessly. Call Him with oneness and unity and love. Tonight, let us practice this Nama Smaran. Sing the name of God. We're going to sing the name of Krishna. Of course, Krishna. What a beautiful name. By the way, I know his name was James. What was the middle name? Beautiful names. Hari is another name for Lord Krishna, the one that takes away our miseries. So tonight, we're asking Him, oh Lord, Hari, take away our miseries, Vasudewala. Sundar, beautiful. Narayan, another name for Lord Vishnu, one of his forms. Incarnation, eighth incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Keshava, beautiful name, another name for Lord Krishna. Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Oh, everybody! Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda. Clap your hands. Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Keshava, Hari Govinda, Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Hari Keshava, Hari Govinda, Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Hari Sundar Nanda Now you can do better than that, man. All of the energy. Prem Samava ke Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. Radhe Radhe. My dear brothers and sisters, James Benjamin. James Krishna Benjamin Boodoo. His name. 73 years old. South Miami, Florida. Passed away on July 31st, 2023. It's about 9:30. What time? 2:14 p.m. After a valiant battle with multiple medical issues. We all know, we are very familiar with this. Sri Krishna Ji was born on May 13th, 1950 to Srimati Lakshman Boodoo in Cuba, Trinidad. Anybody from Cuba except the family? Yes? Alright, good. He migrated to the United States in 1969. Wow, I wasn't born yet. And he went to New York. And just like many immigrants, he came into this country with nothing else but dreams of success. And those of us who knew him very well, he landed his first job in New York City, and he soon started on his journey to become an avid businessman. And that he was, I can tell you that firsthand. Migrated down to Miami afterwards, where he started and operated multiple businesses. And what resonates with me is that he became very quickly a leader in our community, promoting various talents across from the West Indies. For those of you who didn't know, Krishna was the first promoter to bring bands like the Triveni and the late Ananyankaran here to Miami. Sundar Popo as well, yes, uncle. And numerous artists. He was very fond of his music, as he would say in Krishna's terms, "Boy, I like a good tune, I like a good classical music." He likes classical, and we'll do some classical tonight for him now. Multiple businesses in this community, and always gave with an open hand. Whenever he was called upon, he always gave. My meeting with Krishna was way before Amar Jyoti. We became very good friends in the music business, that is. I was in the music business for quite a while. And then he started up his, what's called the first West Indian radio program here in South Florida. Not you all. Anybody remember the name of the program? WDNA. Bapre. 88.9. Located somewhere in West Doral, right? Yeah, Bird Road. I've been to that studio many times with him. And I think Cecil G, is Cecil here? Cecil will be with us tomorrow, yes. Cecil, his co-host as well. And Krishna is survived by his two children. And Dharmendra, where's Dharmendra? Where's Dharmendra? What are you doing in the back, boy? Should be up here. Dharmendra, Russell, of course, you know very well, and their spouses Kavita and Movita, and 5 grandchildren. Brian, where's Brian? Nicholas, Dylan, Lily, backseat, okay, and Jane, backseat, all right. For those of you who didn't know or weren't aware, Krishna ji was the president of the Amar Jyoti Mandir, even before we got to this building. He had great leadership skills. And as I said, he's helped many in this community. I met him in 1988 when I first migrated to the US. In the year 2014, I had the opportunity, or he accompanied us actually, to India on one of my trips. And we spent about a month touring the north and south of India. And we had gone to a river, a place called the Triveni Sangam, where three rivers meet, the Ganga, the Yamuna, and the Saraswati. Saraswati, of course, is underground. And while performing Tarpan, I was doing the offerings. We had the whole group there. We were making offerings in the river. And on the way back now from that boat, coming back from the middle of the river into the shore, he says to me, he says, Pandit, I have a proposal for you. I said, boy, I got married, I know a proposal. What proposal are you talking about? He says, I want you to come and be the spiritual leader of the Amar Jyoti Mandir. I said, Krish, I am too busy for that, boy. I don't have time. And that was about the first week of our trip. We had 3 more weeks to go. Do you know he hounded me every single day about that until the end of the trip? Nevertheless, we came back. We sat down, came back to the US, that is, and we sat down. We met with Ramji and, of course, Auntie Raju, members of the board at Amar Jyoti. And I accepted. And becoming the spiritual leader of Amar Jyoti back then, we transformed this mandir. There was a little, you remember, we had a little altar in the corner here. Transformed the mandir. We have a Pandit now, Pandit Vijay is here with us, resident Pandit. And Amar Jyoti has strived because of the toil and the hard work of people like the late Krishna Boodoo. When we started now, we had these murtis were the only murtis we had in the mandir, by the way, the ones directly behind me. It was time now to get bigger murtis and more murtis in the mandir. We had a fundraising drive. I championed the drive. Started getting donations. And Krishna automatically says, Pandit, I am going to donate the Navagraha murtis. The 9 little murtis you see over there, the Navagrahas, those are donated by Krishna and his family. Blessings to you all on behalf of your father. Devotees, we have transformed this mandir, this community, because of people like Krishna ji. So tonight it's an honor to sit amongst you, amongst his family and loved ones, and to celebrate his life. The life of someone who has given and given and given to this community, so that you and I today can have a place to call home, and this beautiful Amar Jyoti Mandir. To the board of directors here at Amar Jyoti Mandir, Auntie Rajo, Auntie Beverly, Saviji, Ramji, who's not here, and myself, Brahmji is here as well, and of course Panaji. We'd like to offer our condolences to this family on the passing of this great soul. We say Ram Nam Satya Hai, Om Satya Hai. Let's say 3 times. Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya Hai, Ram Nam Satya Hai. This next bhajan we'd like to dedicate to Krish. It's a classical. It was originally done by the late Isaac Yankaran. It says, "Oh man, try to discover God," which is what our katha is based on tonight. He is the master and we are the servants. Focus your thoughts deeply on him. He is always correct. His presence is felt on the earth, fire, the oceans, the air, the mountains, and in the regions all over the universe. He gave you birth and showed you the drama of this world. Why do you wander aimlessly on life's path, oblivious of him? Your life is getting shorter and shorter. The minutes are ticking away. Give up these desires for things you see, hear, and taste. The sense of assurance, these things will not last. Life is temporary. Show that only you serve God to bind this relationship further. Give up attachments to this world. Doesn't tell us. Again, to the departed soul of their brother, Sri Krishna ji. Ishwar ko jaan bande malik tera wahi hai. Ishwar ko jaan bande malik tera wahi hai. Kar le to yaad dil se har jaan mein wo sahi hai. Ishwar ko jaan bande malik tera wahi hai. up for our drummer tonight, Ramesh Ji, one of the finest drummers in South Korea, and of course our brother Nirmal Ji, who is here on harmonium. Come on, give him a round. My dear brothers and sisters, in the few minutes we have left, let me summarize our katha this evening. I believe there are some light refreshments prepared, so please stay back, and then we'll give you some more information about the funeral ceremony tomorrow, the Anteshti Sanskar. Our scriptures tells us man's foremost duty is to make the stream of divine love flow to one and all. If you have nothing else to share or to give someone in life, give love. It's free. Man is born not merely for himself. We are not born for ourselves. We're not selfish. We are selfless. We are to share. Only by dedicating our lives to service, the service of society, like Krishna did, will he ennoble himself to achieve self-satisfaction. God has sent us into this world to practice and to propagate this message. Make no mistake. Share it. Of what avail is this human birth if man remains like a lump of clay without serving the society? You have nothing to give. Having taken birth as a human being, one has to realize there's divinity within. When you call upon God, devotees, you call him sincerely, he responds like this. The primary duty of every individual is become a messenger of God. God is to practice and to propagate the principles of truth, love, and peace, and to experience and to share this bliss with everyone. When I say become a messenger of God, to become a friend of God, and to share, every single one of us, God is within us. Let us ensure that all our thoughts, words, and actions are always pure. In this final bhajan tonight, we pray to Bhagavan Shri Krishna to bless this departed soul and nourish it with love, with all the love that's flowing in this mandir tonight. I can feel it. Channel that love to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Channel that love to Shri Krishna via Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the medium to get there. He's a protocol. And whatever the next destination is for this soul of our departed brother or father, father-in-law, grandfather, brother, may this journey be a very peaceful, a very calm, and a very safe one with the hands of Bhagavan Shri Krishna escorting him. Safe passage and safe keeping. Final bhajan tonight. We sing. इतना तो करना स्वामी जब प्राण तन से निकले गोविंद नाम लेके तब प्राण तन से निकले श्री गंगा जी का तट हो जमुना की पंचवत हो मेरा सावरा निकल हो जब प्राण तन से निकले पीतांबरी कसी हो छवि मन में ये बसी हो ओठों पे कुछ हंसी हो जब प्राण तन से निकले जब कंठ प्राण आए कोई रोग ना सताए यम दर्श ना दिखाए जब प्राण तन से निकले उस वक्त जल्दी आना नहीं शाम भूल जाना राधे को साथ लाना तब प्राण तन से निकले एक भक्त की है अर्जी खुद गर्ज की है गर्जी आगे तुम्हारे मर्जी जब प्राण तन से निकले अपना से गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय जय गोविंद जय गोपाल जय ओ राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय राधा ओ राधा रमण हरि गोविंद जय जय Radhe Radhe. Russellji, I'm going to put you on the spot. Russell has 2 words to say to you tonight. He's a man of very few words.
I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today, celebrating my father's life. And thank you for coming.
Is it all 40 words, right? Russell, we love you and your family, and always know that we are here for you, this community, this Mandir, and all those joining us online. We have quite a few people online as well. Thank you all, devotees, for being part of this celebration of life with Shri Krishna Ji. Tomorrow morning we'll meet at 9 a.m. What's the name of the funeral home again? Branham Funeral Home down in Homestead. Is that Bird Avenue?
No.
Chrome Avenue. Chrome Avenue, yes. Chrome Avenue. Yes, sir. Chrome and Campbell. Okay. Again, Google Baba has it, so if you will find it, right? Chrome and Campbell, 9 a.m. tomorrow. The ceremony will be a short one, I assure you. And we will cremate right after that. So please join us. It's going to be very hot, so please walk with your water and stuff, okay? And we'll say we'll perform the final rites. It's called the Antishti Sanskar, one of the 16, final of the 16 Sanskars in the life of a Hindu. As traditional, customary, we always sing this bhajan when someone passes. It says the garland has been broken, toot gayi hai mala, and all the pearls have scattered. Idhe moti bichhad chale. After sharing company with each other for a few days, now one of the family members has passed. No one knows where they have gone, and everyone must depart and leave this world in union. Or the theme of our katha tonight. Their life is now a dream rooted in separation. In the beginning, they're dreaming of living together in joy, but shattered dreams now fill the eyes. And they have gathered their memories, and with Lord gazes, they have gone separate ways. To each and every single member of this bereaved family, all of you here tonight, please accept our love, our deepest condolences on his passing. Ranam Satyega. टूट गई है माला, टूट गई है माला, मोती बिखर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले, टूट गई है माला, मोती बिखर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले, टूट गई है माला। मिलन की दुनिया को चले, आज भी रहने सपने, मिलन की दुनिया को चले, आज भी रहने सपने, खोए खोए नैनों में है उजरे उजरे सपने, उजरे उजरे सपने, याद की घटड़ी ये झुकाते नजर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले, टूट गई है माला। अब तो ये जग में जिएंगे आंसू पीते पीते, अब तो ये जग में जिएंगे आंसू पीते पीते, जैसी इन पे बीती वैसी और किसी पे न बीते, और किसी पे न बीते, कोई मत पूछो इन्हें कि ये इस डगर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले, टूट गई है माला, मोती बिखर चले, 2 दिन रह कर साथ जाने किधर चले, जाने किधर चले, जाने किधर चले। राम नाम सत्य है, ओम सदगति। One of my favorite writers, Srimati Seema Diwanji, she wrote in poetry, she says, "The ground is bound to shake. The times will not remain the same. There will be losses, there will be gains, sometimes joy, sometimes pain. But through all of it, keep your feet on the ground. The ground may shake, but you must remain unshaken. What power can fear have once faith has stood up and declared you to be untouched by any doubts? You are to believe that you are the best. The best will come in time. Don't be anxious. Why? You are beyond being swept by thoughts of panic. Think with calmness and peace, and the thunder of restless thoughts will silence itself. And who is to say that you will not make it through? The earthquakes of karma. What is faith and destiny when you have held the feet of grace? Grace will pour upon you, and you are to be bold and wait for its timely arrival. Be patient. If you call yourself weak, then how can you receive protection from the cosmic self? The greatest weakness is to hold on to your fears of being weak. I repeat, the greatest weakness is to hold on to your fears of being weak. Why let them howl and pass by you? Your voice of self-confidence must shake the walls of time. Time can take away nothing if you stand up to it face to face, eye to eye, and step to step. Don't back away. God is the power of the highest self in you. It speaks as love, works as goodness, thinks as peace, and ensures wisdom and proclaims humility. Be that self. Your life is filled with meaning once you are free of fear of becoming better than the rest. You are in each and every being. You are the best when the rest of the world is your family. I repeat, you are the best when the rest of the world is your family. There is nothing that can shake them. You are ready to face anything with the waves of love that fill your being. Be unshaken. Once again, condolences to this entire family. As I reminded you about the funeral tomorrow, I ask all of you now, any final words? That's pretty good. There's some refreshments outside. Please help yourselves before we leave. But let us sing Katha Visarjan, and then we'll do a short closing prayer. It'll be about 5 minutes to 9. Anyone in the audience would like to share a thought before we leave? We have I can give you 2 minutes. Okay, let's go right into Katha Visarjan. Prem se bolo Bhagwan Ramachandra ki jai. कथा विसर्जन होत है सुनो वीर हनुमान रामा लक्ष्मण जानकी सदा करो कल्याण एक घड़िया दो घड़ी यादों में बुनियाद तुलसी संकट सारी के परमात्मा ईष्ठान् मोक्षप्रदातम् बाबा विभूतिम् इदमाश्रयामि परमं पवित्रम् बाबा विभूतिम् परमं विचित्रम् लीला विभूतिम् समस्तलोकान् त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय. From truth, lead us on to truth. From darkness, lead us on to light. And from death, lead us on to immortality. Shiva Hare, Shiva Rama Sakhe Prabhu, Trividuta Parivaran He Vidu, Ajaneshwara Yadava Pahima, Shiva Hare, Vijayam Kuruvevalam, Pratidinam Kushalam Jai Mangalam, Pratidinam Kushalam Jai Mangalam, Pratidinam Kushalam Jai Mangalam. Om Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu, Mangalam Garudjah, Mangalam Pundarikaksha, Mangalai Tanuhari. Om Yo Shanti, Antariksham Shanti, Prithvi Shanti, Apa Shanti, Ushdeya Shanti, Vanaspate Shanti, Vishwadeva Shanti, Brahma Shanti, Sarvagam Shanti, Om Shanti Deva, Shanti Sama, Shanti Vidhi, Hari Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोलो गजानन स्वामी की, उमापति महादेव की, सत्य सनातन धर्म की, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की, जगदम्बे भवानी शंकर माता की, श्री कृष्णा जी की जय हो. राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है, राम नाम सत्य है. ओम सत्यति. Devotees, koti koti dhanyavad. Thank you all so much for being such a wonderful audience this evening and coming out to show your love and support for this family, and of course praying and singing and chanting for this departed soul who has now journeyed or is journeying to its next destination. Again, funeral tomorrow 9 a.m. On Crow Avenue. Funeral home again? Branham. I don't like to remember that name. Branham Funeral Home on Chrome Avenue. See you there at 9 tomorrow. Please stay back and have some refreshments. And thank you again. For those of you joining us online as well, thank you for joining us here. This evening we celebrated the life of our brother, the late Sri Krishna Boodoo of Miami, the former president of the Amar Mandir here, who has succumbed to his illnesses, and he will be cremated tomorrow here in Miami, Florida. Thank you all for your continued support. May God bless you. With love, I say to you, Jai Jai Sitaram Sab Koi. Hari Om.